Hello and welcome to Raising Those Spirits. I'm Steve,
I'm Sam.
and we're back for, I think, episode 28.
28, that's correct.
Wow.
Whoa.
That seems like both too many and not enough.
I think we've proven that there's enough spooky kids content to keep the show going forever.
I think there's always new spooky things. This week we're
Yeah, that's
doing a new
true.
spooky thing. This show came out in June.
So
So,
it's very recent.
yeah, this show's been out for 5 weeks,
Oh my goodness.
and I've already seen it so much.
So many times.
All right, so I mean,
We're tired and old.
we're
I think is what
tired
we sound like.
and
We sound like tired old men.
old and it has been a day. So I'm going to get into our. I don't think we can call it a new segment anymore.
No,
Because,
our standard opening segment now.
yeah, this is the eighth time we're doing it, which also seems wrong. Um, but here we are. So this week, I'm going to butcher this name. It is Pitru Paksha. It is
Hmm.
from India. It is a 16-day period in the Hindu calendar. This year, it's from September 10th to September 25th, where they pay homage.
Homage, I think, is
They
right.
pay homage to their ancestors, typically through food offerings. In Hinduism, the souls of the three preceding generations of one's ancestors reside in a realm called Pitraloka, which is a realm between heaven and earth. I think it's kind of like purgatory. Uh, it's governed by Yama, the god of death, who ferries people from life to this place. And so everyone waits there until a person of the when a person of the next generation dies, the first generation shifts over to heaven and unites with God, and the new person who has died takes their place in the line. Um, this period is considered to be inauspicious as a death rite is performed during the ceremonies, so this isn't like a happy fun festival like some of the others that we've done. Uh,
Okay, a bit more a solemn
yes,
occasion.
this is a very serious endeavor. They have to perform a death rite called Shraddha, and this is done to ensure that the souls of their ancestors go to heaven. It's performed by sons, typically the eldest son, who have obligations to both the preceding three generations and the following three generations. So they must learn and recite the names of six generations in their life to create like a lineage blood tie, and everyone is
Hmm.
considered to have a debt to their ancestors who did this before them, and they are therefore repaying that on to the next generation. So it does involve global staples like food offerings and stuff, but it is not a fun festival. It's pretty serious, and it usually happens over the solstice, although because the lunar calendar does shift occasionally, it misses it.
Hmm. All
And
right.
I'm
That's
there
that.
Yeah, there was a lot to this one. I pieced together what I could because it was very in depth. I tried to just kind of do a bare bones run over it, so I hope I didn't butcher pronunciation or custom. There was just a lot of information on this one, but I think those are the broad strokes.
Yeah, a lot of times what I'll try to do is find a video or audio clip of somebody saying the words that I don't know. And then I feel like if I tried to emulate them, I would be doing an accent. And I was like, God, I don't want to do that.
Fair.
So I think you got probably got pretty close to the pronunciations, or at least as good as a white East Coaster was gonna do.
Excellent.
That's cool. You know, it's interesting learning about all these different holidays and finding the ones where they take things so seriously, and then there are other ones where it's more like in the states where it's more about celebrating and having fun.
It's fun to learn about. Definitely. There's it's cool to just see like what's slightly different from the other regions that do this globally because as we've talked about before there's so much overlap and yet much difference.
I
Like
feel like I'm learning about the lineage of these holidays because you can see it's like, oh, China has this holiday, Vietnam has this other holiday that falls about the same time. Some similarities and some differences. You can see really like the family tree of the different spooky holidays.
yeah, like I did the Awuru Odo festival a few episodes ago in Nigeria and it's a very similar concept but with an entirely different tone.
Hmm.
So it's just cool to see, like, in some parts of the world, they take this very, it's more like a celebration and it's very theatrical versus somewhere else who's doing similar things and it's very solemn and it's about duty. And you know what I mean? It's almost like a multiverse of, like, possibilities that you could have taken this.
Hmm. What are you drinking, Steve?
I am not drinking anything, but I do have a drink.
Hmm.
So I went to make this and I found out my ginger beer had expired.
Oh no.
So I was all ready to make this right before this episode, and I was actually very excited about it. But maybe someone in the audience can try it and let me know how it was. It is called a Jolene, which is on brand for tonight,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
you'll find out why later. Um, it is 1.5 ounces of sweet tea vodka, half an ounce of peach schnapps, 2 ounces of ginger beer, and mint.
Oh, that does sound good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I was really excited. It seemed like a good warm weather drink to sip on while we did this, and then my ginger beer had expired, and I was like, oh no. So that's the Jolene. I will be trying it soon.
All right. Well, report back.
Absolutely.
Uh, I went with as close of an approximation as I could get with what I had on hand. The Devil's Margarita, which is 1.5 ounces of white tequila, 1 ounce of lime juice, 3/4 of an ounce simple syrup, half an ounce of red wine garnished with a lime wheel. I didn't have any simple syrup on hand, so I went with grenadine instead because I was like, well, at least it's red; it fits the theme. So I don't know what the actual version of this drink would taste like, but the version that I did with grenadine, very good, nice and tart, also sweet, very red, very devilish. Good summer drink. The Devil's Margarita you can find on liquor.com if you want to look it up.
Okay, did you look up the Dead End cocktail?
I did it. What was that? Had
It was whiskey and
grapefruit,
orange juice.
orange juice. I saw a lot of things that had grapefruit juice. I was looking up today. Either Dead End cocktail. I looked up a couple of different like demon cocktails.
Yeah, I looked up. None of them looked good,
Now,
which is where I pivoted over to Dolly Parton and ended up at the Jolene.
which makes sense. This is I would say a heavily Dolly Parton inspired cartoon.
So, yeah, I guess with that, we'll get into it. We watched this week Dead End Paranormal Park, based on the graphic novel series Dead Endia. It has recently come to Netflix, and it was apparently also a web short at one point
Mhm.
called Dead End. So we watched the Netflix version, and I think the general concept of the show is what if Dolly Parton was a scream queen?
Okay, that I mean that's a start.
Like they basically work at Dollywood if Dolly Parton had been a scream queen. That's it. Like that's the whole base premise of the show is a very Dolly Parton-esque character has a version of Dollywood that is just horror themed based on all of her movies and shows, etc.
It's haunted.
It's super haunted.
Oh,
Um,
maybe. Yeah, haunted or infested. It's
Possessed?
sort of
Yeah.
possessed. It's demon possessed. It is
It's a
home to many
hotbed.
demons.
It's a hotbed of demon activity.
Pandemonium, if you would.
So, how many episodes did you watch? Because my son has
I
had me
ended up
watch
watching
a
the whole
lot of.
thing.
Oh, did you? Awesome.
I
Um,
figured I wanted to be as on board. I know that you've watched the whole thing, and I wanted to be completely caught up, so I ended up watching the whole thing just to make sure that I knew what I was talking about.
awesome. Yeah, I have never watched the whole thing all the way through, but I've seen it enough times that I've seen, I think, every part of it for the most part.
Mm.
Um, so the the show revolves around two main characters, Barney and Norma, who are both in the first episode competing for a job at their favorite theme park, Dead End Paranormal Park. Um, Barney needs to get out of their house and into their own place. They're having problems with their family, so they're trying to get this job. And Norma just needs to get out into the world and get some life experience. They both recently graduated high school. And so they go. We did skip the cold open, though. The cold open does start with Dolly Parton being chased through the park by something and eventually killed off screen, as far as we're aware, by evil version of themselves.
Mhm. There's a
So
lot of stuff that you don't necessarily understand what you're watching until you've watched the whole thing through. Because I
yeah,
didn't know what the significant. I mean, like I knew that it was significant that opening scene was significant because we were getting the sort of vibe of the show. But eventually, they explained what you were really seeing in that scene.
yes, yeah. The show's pretty good about. It's 10 episodes long, and it does a pretty good job of tying up most of its plot hooks into each other in a pretty good flow. Um, so you wanna walk through the episode since you're kind of the one that is coming to this
Sure.
new.
Sure. And I just watched all of them over the course of the last 2.5 days. Um, so in our first episode, we meet Barney, who has decided to leave home. It becomes very clear that, and this is one of the central themes of the show, Barney is trans and having a hard time with his family.
But you don't find that out until the end of the second episode.
Oh, I make that pretty clear, I'd say, in the first episode.
He never says it though until the end of the second episode.
Well, then I don't know. I don't know if I knew because you told me,
I
or
had
if I
told
knew
you, I
because I
think.
or if I figured it out from context clues. I don't think it's like a secret. The way that they present it, but we know that our lead is a trans man, recently out of high school. Or are they man or are they non-binary?
They are a trans man.
Oh, okay, so they're a trans man. So that's our lead is a teenage trans man who leaves home because he's having trouble at home, and that's why he ends up going to looking for this job at the paranormal park because he has nowhere he feels like he's comfortable at this point. And of course, once he gets there, he discovers that Norma, his neighbor, who he went to high school with, is also competing for this same job to be a security guard at the park. And they immediately start competing for the position, only to discover that the people who are leading the interview are not actually park employees, but are a whole bunch of demons who are trying to sacrifice them to bring about their king. This is mostly uh, third lead character, Courtney. Courtney is a demon played by Emily Osment, who becomes kind of their third friend once they all become friends. Which you would assume going into the show, this 10 episode show, that these three characters who are kind of at odds in the first episode are going to end up, of course, becoming a found family. And I don't want to like breeze too quickly through it. They the main thing to take from the first episode, I think, would be just the general themes and feel of the show.
Yes,
If you're
so
familiar with like Gravity Falls, Owl House, Hilda, has very much that sort of feel.
Very big Gravity Falls vibes.
Yeah, I would say if skews probably closest to Gravity Falls more than anything else. Even more than I would say, like say Owl House, which would be like Gravity Falls' sister show. I would say that
Yes.
this skews very, very close to Gravity Falls. We have our little quartet. They become a quartet. We have Barney, who is leaving home and trying to find themselves. Norma, who is, I think, a little rigid and is learning to come out of her shell. Courtney the demon, who is very much your sort of chaos character. Every series has a chaos character.
Well, Courtney is a demon,
Is a demon, of course. So
who
Courtney
is
would be the kid.
locked to this plane and is just trying to get home.
I want to go
Which,
back to
yeah,
hell or whatever they call it in this show.
Petra actually has a theory that Courtney is an angel, and that's why they can't get to hell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they make mention of that way later in the series that the reason is he's stuck in. Oh, not he. Courtney. She is stuck on Earth is because they have angel bands on their hands. But Courtney has been to hell before.
Yeah, but
Familiar with hell. They're trying
fami-
to get back there.
yeah. So in the third episode, they all go into like a fantasy world, and Courtney goes to hell in their mind, and the hell and like the last episode, they actually end up back in hell, and it is nothing like the hell in their mind.
Hmm.
And Courtney, one of their things is they teleport around, they like poof around, and none of the other demons in the show do that. But at the very end of the last episode, an angel poofs in, gives a report, and poofs out.
Okay.
So,
Uh,
and when Courtney does go to hell, not a single demon likes them. So just that's a little theory we have in this household is that Courtney is.
Steve House fan theory.
Yeah, we have a fan theory that Courtney's actually an angel. And I mean, this has been a webcomic forever. We could probably just look this up.
Oh. No, I don't want to be spoiled.
Absolutely. I want this to get a season 2 and have them
I
discuss
hope it gets
that.
a season two. Early thoughts. I hope it gets a season two because I think it was a really cute show.
Yeah, I really
Um,
enjoyed it.
Fourth member of their found family ends up being Barney's Pug, who gains the
Pugsley.
ability. Pugsley gains the ability to speak after being briefly possessed by a demon. Though they continue to be possessed by a demon throughout the rest of the show, just a little bit. But yeah, I would say this show is cute. Um, uh, I think a lot of it would go over my kid's head. Uh, if I was to watch it with them, I did want to watch it with them because I thought, it seemed a bit little mature for my 5-year-old. But I would say watch it with a 6 or 7-year-old. I think they would start to get some stuff out of it. I especially like when we have a um, LGBTQ lead character because that's something that so many shows have shied away from for such a long time. And I think it's really important to allow that to be normal. Um, I think it's really important in children's programming that we see a lot of people who have not been represented before. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. What you're the one you've been a big fan of this since it came out apparently just last month. But why was it so important to you to watch it and discuss it?
Well, my kid loves it. And it scratches that Gravity Falls itch, which I feel like a lot of people are always looking for something similar to Gravity Falls. And I'm always willing to kind of throw out things like that that are good. And it's, we like diversity here, and it's a very diverse show. Barney is gay, Jewish, and trans. Norma is Pakistani American. She's also bi and is autistic and has an anxiety disorder. Courtney in the show presents as a woman, but in the comic, Courtney is apparently non binary. And then, so Barney has a gay love interest, Logs. It's just, and Logs is Vietnamese, and Norma's love interest, Badia, is Iranian American and Muslim, and actually wears the head wrap and stuff. So it's got a lot of nice diversity. It's a fun show. It's not super long, and I can get behind a lot of it, and it's got some good jokes and stuff. It's cute.
Mhm. I think it does enough to stand out from so many other spooky kids cartoon series that we've watched. It has. I love the personalities of all the characters. And I'm not going to say that they're 100% original. I feel like you can, if you're just looking at the poster of the show, you can kind of guess the archetypes of each character. Or, our lead, our our best friend, our dog, our demon. You kind of have, like, just look at the poster, you have a sense of who these characters are going to be. I don't think they're really breaking the mold with how the characters act and interact. I think the fact that they are representing such diverse groups of people and still just showing them as those standard archetypes, I think is really important.
That's
They,
one of the things I agree I really like is these people are very diverse, but that's not their entire character. They're
right.
very well defined people. I think one of the things that helps that is the creator actually has all of their scripts reviewed by GLAD
Was smart.
and basically runs it through experts so that they can help keep these people and keep them appropriate because he doesn't live all these experiences.
It's such
Which,
a smart thing to do.
yes. And I think a fun part of the series is one of the characters is played by Patrick Stump from Fallout Boy.
Who? Which character was Patrick Stump?
Okay, the blonde guy that works at the park with them, the kind of like,
Okay, the guy who runs like the Ferris wheel or something, or the
yeah,
roller
with like the
coaster.
symmetrical face.
Okay, the
Uh,
very attractive white
Josh. His name is Josh.
Josh.
Yeah, the attractive white
Okay,
guy. And there is
that's who
a
I thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
there's a musical episode, and Patrick Stump wrote the rock opera for it.
Which is great. I would say that was hands down my favorite episode.
It is
Because the
very
music
good.
was really good. I listened to a lot of Fallout Boy. I will admit that. Every now and then I'm just like I'm just gonna listen to Panic at the Disco and Fallout Boy all day today. That was actually what I did today. So not surprising that I watched the musical episode yesterday, and today I was like, oh, I'm very much just gonna listen to emo rock. Um, the musical episode was very good.
So we're gonna jump back to the first episode because I really derailed us.
But
Um,
yeah, yeah. Please bring us back to episode one.
we digressed, but stayed on topic.
Yeah, so we can't cut that. We haven't had a bonus episode in a while because I think we've
we
gotten really good at actually talking about what we're talking about.
It's hard. It's really hard because I want to talk to you about all these things, but I also want to be done at a reasonable hour.
Because we're old.
We're old now. So it first episode, Barney and Norma are both competing for one job opening. This is both of their favorite theme parks. So they both get there, and it turns out the job is a setup. It's not for an actual security guard position. They're looking for a body for a demon lord to possess because his old body has run out. And so the demon chooses Barney's body, and right as he goes to possess Barney, Pugsley, who at this point is just a normal dog, jumps in the way and gets possessed by this demon lord and now has all the powers of a demon lord. And they have to proceed to try and escape and save his dog and banish a demon lord all in the first episode, which they do, at least
Stakes were
temporarily.
pretty high. Stakes
Yes,
were pretty high in the first episode.
So they manage to trick the demon lord because there's still a little bit of Pugsley in there. So if you command Pugsley to do any of his dog tricks, like roll over and stuff, he still will. And they're able to get it onto a roller coaster that takes their picture on the way down. And if you take their picture, it pulls out the demon from you, basically, like it steals your soul. And so they're able to get the Demon Lord out of Pugsley, except only like 99% of the Demon Lord gets out of Pugsley. There's still a little bit of magic left in there, so Pugsley can now talk and cast spells and stuff.
Which is pretty lucky for them.
Pretty lucky for them. And you get Pugsley as a talking member of the group for the rest of the show. And Pugsley's a fun little character.
Yeah, you gotta love the dog because they fill the role of kind of the naive character. There's always the character, in a lot of these shows. There's always the naive but well-meaning best
He's
friend who is there to teach lessons about being good.
he's got a little bit of Olaf energy,
I
which
agree with that.
I don't. That's not a bad thing. It's just he kind of fills that thing where I'm going to teach you a lesson, but be a little silly, but also be integral to the plot. I'm not just here for laughs. So yeah. So the
He's
second
an,
go ahead.
throughout the show, he's an important thing to tie Barney to their own past. Barney is trying to escape his family life. Um, Pugsley's a dog, so he just misses the rest of the family. That opens up a lot. That helps open up a lot of the discussion of like how Barney is going to deal with his family problems.
And the
They're able
episode,
to do that because they have a cute dog.
yeah. And the episode ends with they've actually done such a good job that they end up getting hired as security at this park because most security gets scared off, but they actually can handle demons, so they get the job. And Barney actually moves into the theme park and starts living in the haunted house because they do not want to go home.
Which is fair. Would you do that? Would you go live in a haunted house?
Yeah,
A theme park?
absolutely.
To everybody.
Sounds great. Uh, and they have a bunch of
Yeah.
fun gags in the third episode about like living at the haunted house. But yeah, no, it's a good first episode. It basically builds the entire universe and introduces you to the majority of the characters right off the bat.
I enjoyed it. There's a lot to like about the show. There's a lot of good interactions. A lot of you enjoy watching the characters grow and get to know each other.
Yeah, the second episode, I think you meet all the supporting cast in the second episode. The first episode is strictly the core four of the show. And then like all like the town weirdos and stuff are all introduced in episode 2, and it's basically just all their coworkers. Different people who work at the park doing different things as Pugsley accidentally animates all the old park mascots and they come to life and start terrorizing the park. And everyone just kind of rolls with it for the most part. I have another fan theory that Badia is actually a demon.
The
The Muslim girl.
Muslim girl. Why do you think that?
Because even in that episode, most people are freaking out about all the supernatural stuff going on. But the park's slogan is like, just keep it to yourself, darling. And when like everything weird is happening and people are freaking out, she just kind of like calmly winks and says that and rolls with it. Like this is a normal thing to her. And
How common do you think demons are in this universe? Does your
fairly,
general pu- does your general public know that there's a certain amount of supernatural activity going on in this cartoon, or no?
I do not believe so.
No. So any demons that are popping up, this is the first time your general population of this world is dealing with demons. I think that's an important thing to establish.
Because in episode 4, the kids kind of do like a Bloody Mary Candyman type of a thing. And if you know demons are real and can be summoned, you don't do that. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Sure.
Like,
Kids are also dumb.
kids are dumb, but there is also like a degree of shock when it works.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think people don't really know about
No, I don't think
this.
they do either. It's generally how shows are written, where demons are a secret.
So I think
Yeah,
Badia has a few moments where she just really rolls with it. And there's a few other things, but I
she's
think Badia might be a demon.
she's been at the park a while. I feel like the people who work at the park have a certain level of knowledge of the evil around
Maybe.
them. Also, maybe not. She could be a demon. I don't know. I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer of this anyway.
Well, also because she wears the traditional like Muslim attire that covers up most of her body,
Hmm.
that could be inclusion, but that could also just be like a really good way to hide part of your demonic body.
Ooh, it's a disguise.
So, just a thought.
I think they'll leave the theme park next season because it's dead end Paranormal Park. Wonder where their adventures take them next. If they stay at the park, I feel like things at the park are pretty wrapped up. I don't want to give too much away if people are going to watch this, but I feel like things at the park are pretty wrapped up by the end of the first season.
Um,
Wonder if they'll go somewhere else.
I mean, again, this is where I'm wondering about the comic. I don't know if the comic ever leaves the park.
Oh, now go read it and come back and tell me.
Yeah, seriously. I feel like they almost have to stay at the park. That's where like the elevator and stuff are.
That's
Like
true.
the park almost seems like a little bit of a hellmouth. Like angels are watching it, demons break through there multiple times. But there's not much more of Dead Endia from what I'm looking at. It looks like there's only two graphic novels out. The third one's coming out.
When did it start running?
2014?
Oh, okay. So it's been around for a while.
Yes.
I wonder how long it takes to put out an issue.
Yeah, I'm
Be
not
interesting.
sure. I didn't do as much research on the source material as I normally do for this one,
Hmm.
but it's
I'm
fun.
grilling you like you're an expert. I'm expecting you to be an expert on these things, Steve.
Yeah,
Or were you on this?
I mean, I just don't have the energy that I used to.
Isn't it hard?
I even have the wiki open. You'd think it would give me the answers, but this wiki is exclusively for Dead End Paranormal Park. There is not seem to be a wiki for Dead Endia, which is just really frustrating.
Oh, we'll figure it out. It'll show back up. Hopefully, I hope it gets to the second season. I think that's one of Netflix's big problems is they will cancel things before it gets really a chance to get going. I feel like
Yes.
there's a lot of things I've not kept up with because I don't expect them to continue.
And
So I hope people check this out.
this has been compared to Infinity Train, Gravity Falls, as we said. Oh crap, what's that one that's like Gravity Falls that we talked about that we
Owl
really like?
House.
Owl House, yeah. Like,
Owl House.
and those all got multiple seasons. So I'm hoping this gets picked up for at least another season. Because I know Owl House finally got canceled, but that's because Disney's Disney.
Yeah,
Um,
Disney makes surprising choices, I think.
I honestly would not be shocked if Owl House got revived by Disney.
Oh,
Be-
like they bring it back later on.
so it got canceled, and the creator came out and freaked out at Disney. I think we've talked about this. How basically it was one like cis white guy at Disney decided it didn't flow with his vision of Disney and canceled the show, even though it was doing well. But that was a few months before the whole Florida Don't Say Gay thing and everyone freaking out at Disney for not being more vocal about it or anything. And Disney has done a pretty big 180 on being vocally supportive of stuff. I mean, you were talking even in the last episode about how you watched the Pride stuff for Zombies 3.
Hmm.
Baymax has trans people and stuff in it in the new show. They've been really leaning into the trans and LGBT positive stuff since then.
Yeah.
So if they basically canceled Owl House due to some management being like, this isn't the direction we want to go, and then they actually hard shifted in that direction, I could see it getting a comeback.
I hope it does.
I hope it does too. I really do.
I would love to run a streaming network that just picked up all the shows that got canceled
Yes.
for their due, and then like the shows that do well enough would get a new season or a reboot or something. I don't know how much that would cost. That'd be very expensive. So I would say, here, people with streaming services, make my idea happen.
The problem with that is people have actually tried to do this. It's that companies don't want to sell the rights to the show just in case they ever decide they want to go back to it.
True.
Because I know with Firefly, like there were a few times where like people wanted to revive it and Fox just would not sell it.
Hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there were times where like even like crowdfunding like they did for the Veronica Mars movie and stuff
Hmm.
to try and get like a project or another movie or this or that, and everything just came down to Fox would not release the rights to the property.
It was a Fox show. Does that mean that Disney owns Firefly now?
Yeah, Firefly's getting rebooted finally.
Hey, you're kidding me.
No, it's a full reboot, new cast.
When did that happen?
A few months ago. Let me look this up.
I hadn't heard that.
Firefly reboot. Yep, there's a Disney Plus reboot coming out. I think this was like a month ago. Yeah, so 20 years after it was canceled, which is shocking, it's getting a reboot by Disney. And since Joss Whedon has been canceled, he's not involved in it. So it's a whole new
Oh yeah.
story, a whole new cast, and it's a complete restart and no Joss Whedon. So I don't have high hopes for it. Not that I think Joss Whedon should be involved, but he is one of the things that made that show work. And the cast is one of the things that made that show work. It's just I don't know if they're going to recapture that magic. But it is getting rebooted, but that's because Disney bought Fox and was able to basically wrangle it away. But, that has been a problem with other shows that got canceled. And I think even the Owl House guy talked about that, about how Disney owns the rights to the Owl House and there was no way they were going to give it up even though it was canceled. And
Well, shoot.
that's the big problem with these things is getting the stations to relinquish them. So, you know, that's our
Well,
industry talk.
I hope that is not the case with Dead End.
Same.
No, I hope that they get another season to continue the story because it was really cute.
It was really cute, and they didn't end it on a cliffhanger, but they definitely left it open for there to be a lot more.
Yeah, I mean they could keep. I mean, like, it's a pretty open premise. We see this same sort of premise over and over and over again, where one group of kids knows about something evil, and it's up to them for whatever reason to stop it. I imagine that'll be, it'll continue going. There's plenty of story to tell.
All right. Do you want to talk about any more of the show itself?
No, I don't want to give too much away
Yeah,
for anybody who's
that's
gonna watch it.
the problem. Since it is only 10 episodes and they're like 25-minute episodes, the after talking about anything after like the first or second episode really starts to get into spoiler territory.
Yeah, I would say it's worth a watch. Steve, obviously your son, who is, what is he, 3 now?
No, he's 2.5.
2.5.
Obsessed with
Enjoys
it.
it.
Loves the
I
Patrick
would
Stump
I would watch
episode.
it. Yeah, I would watch this with my daughter, I think. Maybe not right now, because I don't know that she would get everything that's happening. But I guess she doesn't need to. The idea is to normalize things that they don't understand.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why
I'd
we're
watch it.
cool with my kid watching all this stuff because everything's just normal to him. As he's getting older, like all these trans people, gay people, brown, black, whatever, like they're all just normal and they're in the front lines. And I like that that is just to be like that is something he now expects when he watches things. So, you know, give it a try. If it's too scary, it's too scary. If it's not, you get to watch Dead End.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Definitely worth watching.
Cool. All right. What do we have anything we do after the episode now? We don't do adult
No, we
time
haven't.
really.
Is who has adult time? What have you been doing with your adult time?
Honestly, I've been playing my way through the Dragon Age series
Oh
um,
yeah.
because it's pretty mindless and I can just kind of melt into the couch after a long day and grind on that for like an hour or two with Petra. And it's not spooky really at all, but it's what I've been doing with my adult time recently as I recover from being in the cadaver lab for a month.
My wife has already started doing our annual Halloween shopping, because the stores are starting to put Halloween stuff out. So that's basically when we do our at-home decor shopping. So we already have a new spooky shower curtain, a new spooky tablecloth, and a couple of new like spooky tchotchkes that have made their way around the house that will just remain um, forever. So definitely, even though it'll be August when this episode airs. Even though it's only August, definitely time to start looking because by September, all the good stuff's gonna get picked over.
I mean,
Get
we
in
have
there.
less than 3 months to Halloween.
I know it's like 90. It's like 96 days, I think, as we record. So by the time this airs, it's gonna be less than 80 days.
Yeah,
Everybody, get on that. Start buying your Halloween stuff. That's what I'm doing.
awesome.
I didn't even do it. I didn't even do it. I'm just enjoying the new decor.
Yeah, I when I was at your house over the weekend, I just noticed like how not spooky my house is. Like my house has like little spooky things here and there. Yours is a spooky house.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Oh, spooky stuff all over this place.
I like the aesthetic.
Thank you.
Maybe when my son gets a little older and I don't have to worry about him destroying everything, we can do that. We can get a little more spooky stuff.
You'll get there. We all do. All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, thanks for sticking with us for 28 episodes. Check out Dead End. Sam, where can they find us?
You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We are at RTSpiritsPod. Look forward to hearing from you. If you have an idea for something that we should cover in a future episode, please let us know.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us. I'm
See you
Steve.
next time.
Yep,
I'm Sam. I ended too quickly.
you
I'm
did.
Sam.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.